All right, welcome back in. Just another football show. It's Wild Card Weekend. We're previewing all the games, kids.
Yeah, we're talking a lot this week, and between Christmas and New Year's, I don't even know what fucking day it is.
Yeah, it's true. So we're gonna preview each and every game. We'll have a little video feed up for each game. So if you just want to listen to one team, please still download, listen to the podcast. We'll put it all out in one big podcast with everything.
Wild card dump.
But we're also going to do these little videos. That way you can share it if it's your team, spread it around. People can hear what we're doing here. We're talking to fans. We did it the same way last year. We seem to have a lot of success and a lot of fun with it.
Still surprised. We get so many people that want to do it. It's awesome.
Yeah. So we are, right now we're talking Texans-Bills. We're going to throw on over. We're going to talk to Michael. He's our Texans fan. We're going to talk to Matt from the local Bills Mafia.
Get at us.
Your boys will be out at the keg stand for this game coming up Saturday, 3:30 Central Time. 3:30 our time.
Two 10 and 6 teams come out, different trajectories, but yeah.
Want to come out and hang out? We will be there. Yeah. We'll talk more to Matt about it later in the episode.
Your own folding table,
let's see how wild. I know that we're miles and miles away, but let's see how wild this Bills Mafia.
My go-to was just what happens in the parking lot stays in the parking lot. I assume. I don't think you can bring that shit inside. I don't think they'd go for that. But
it's interesting.
Just get it done in the parking lot
for non-football reasons, right? We got Bills Mafia, which we're going to be loosely entangled with, and then you also have the Texans Saturday game curse, right? The first game of Wild Card Weekend is usually the Texans. It's usually them embarrassing themselves and falling in their own slop. So
Tom Savage was a quarterback in one of those games once.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
He was a playoff quarterback once.
So,
I'm sure.
So it's an interesting game for those reasons. Plus, it should be a good one on the field too.
All right, so we're gonna get Michael on the phone. He is going to talk Texans, and like I said, we'll talk to Matt to close out this here preview, and then there'll be more coming. Keep an eye. Watch the YouTube channel, the Just Another Podcast Network out on YouTube. We'll put everything up there. We'll share it out on Facebook. Everywhere you can find us, these will be there. So, what do you guys say we get Michael on the line? All right, so now we're going to talk to Michael. He is our Texans fan. Got a big matchup coming up.
How you guys?
You got a big matchup coming up.
We're good. And I'm going to try and not vent frustrations on losing a fantasy championship because Deshaun Watson had a terrible outing.
Here we go.
A couple weeks ago. That's beyond it. We're looking at postseason. We're talking real football. So I had to get that out there. I had to get it off my chest.
Oh, I got some gripes with the Texans. I'm going to try to keep them out of this interview.
Yeah.
But first off, before we dive too far into it, do we see J.J. Watt back on the field?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he was activated.
He's been activated. He's been practicing. I don't know if you've been following the situation closer than I have. What is the feel around Texas camp right now?
Everybody's excited. OB is kind of playing it off like it's not going to happen or is not a big deal. But I think JJ back on the field, whether it's 5 plays or 45 plays, I think is a huge deal for the Texans' morale. And, he's still JJ Watt.
Yeah, you touched on it perfectly right there. Whether it's 5 plays or it's an entire game, just getting him on the field at home especially, that place is just going to lose its S the moment that he walks out there, especially if he's able to make a big play early on. Could really set the tempo for not only the defense but the entire team.
I agree. He is a leader, and when he does good things, people seem to rally around it.
Yeah, even just stepping up the run game. The run game has slipped down. They're 25th in the league at stopping the run, allowing 120 yards a game. But like we pointed out, it's been a lot without J.J. Watt. So him coming in, he helps the run game, helps the pass defense by getting the rushing the quarterback, and if nothing else, leadership and morale, which is huge. So even getting him back, like we talked about, 5 plays, 50 plays, whatever, it's huge and it helps a ton. So that's great news that you want to hear coming into Wild Card Weekend.
It sure is.
And I think even the last game against the Titans, it was backups and everything like that. But I think that seeing some of those plays work, seeing A.J. McCarron get going a little bit, even though it was a blowout, 35-14, whatever, I think that builds a little bit of confidence. How do you feel about that last matchup there?
First touchdown we scored on the opening drive all year was with none of our wide receivers, half the offensive line, and A.J. McCarron playing quarterback, which is kind of surprising. But, yeah, the first half was really good. It was interesting. It was fun, and we were in the game. The second half, honestly, even fewer second-string players played. It wasn't like – it felt like a preseason game in the second half, so it wasn't as disheartening as a 35-14 game to be or whatever.
Yeah, no Laramie
Yeah.
Tunsil, no Deshaun Watson, no Nuke Hopkins. I mean, I think Carlos Hyde
No
was out
Fuller,
for
no
a little bit,
Stills.
but yeah,
Yeah.
no Fuller, no
Yep,
Stills.
Hyde played early. Yep, Hyde played early. Duke Johnson played early, and neither of them played later.
Yeah.
Even Darren Fells took the day off.
Yeah, and Aikens got rolling at the end there too, which is awesome to see because Texans have been in dire need of a good tight end for a long time, and to have a couple of different options there is very useful for Deshaun Watson. So
Yes, it is.
And I am fine with.
They use that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was
They use that tight end really well off of that read option. I think that if we can get a mainstay at that position, or at least somebody that scares some defenses, I think that'll open up more for Watson.
Yeah, no, I am completely fine with Texans' decision to rest the majority of the team, give them a week off in this situation, knowing that they had to come back and play wild card weekend. Now, if they were in virtue of a first round bye, I might have a little bit more of trepidation as far as sitting everyone. Now you've got 2 weeks off, some rust can set in. We've seen that happen in the past. But in this situation, totally fine with getting these guys some rest and healthy. These guys have been playing through some injuries. I know Hopkins has been a little banged up, a little hobbled here and there. Obviously, Will Fuller's still out. He's most likely going to miss this game as well.
I saw something on ESPN that he might be active for Saturday. That's a huge get if he is because
he's a touchdown machine.
He's a touchdown machine. Deshaun Watson loves him, and the whole offense is different with Fuller. They showed the
100%.
disparity on the game on Sunday, and it's insane how much better this team is with just one guy, Will Fuller, being in there. But stretching the field opens up everything underneath. So how do you feel about this offense, assuming that they have everything intact and Laramie Tunsil is good on the offense? Everything there. How do you feel about the offense? Because it's been a little shaky at times this year.
It has been, but I also think that it is an awesome offense. I think that when they get rolling and everything's in momentum, nobody can stop them but themselves. When the run game's working, the deep ball is going to be there, right? And I think that we have. It's hard to argue to me that there's a better wide receiving core when we have everybody healthy in the National Football League, and I think that helps, especially when we have two very capable running backs and an offensive line that has vastly improved since week one.
As good as that offensive line has improved, the key to success for this team is keeping Deshaun Watson upright. Now, you've got a very good Buffalo Bills defense coming in here, and we've seen this offensive line, while improving and getting healthy and getting the right pieces in place, still struggle at times. Are you worried at all about maybe giving up some big sacks at some crucial times against this Bills team?
The thing that I have learned over the years with Watson is he loves to hold on to that ball. And if that means taking a sack on 2nd and 4, then that means taking a sack on 2nd and 4, because at some point later on in the game, he's going to make up for it with a big play that you just don't see coming from holding on to the ball in the pocket. So, and all of those sacks, I don't blame the offensive line for, but you have to take the good with the bad with Watson, and I think he is one of the most electric players in the league. He's fun to watch.
Right, and the Texans came into the year having made a bunch of big moves, including getting Laramie Tunsil, which has been a huge boon for this offensive line. And we, I know even here, we're kind of making, poking a little fun at the Texans at some of the big trades, trading away Clowney and this and that, but
Not having a general manager.
not having a general manager. And
Janitor did a great
Janitor
job.
did a great job. And all of it seems to have worked out. So I guess just a little bit, what was your feeling at the beginning of the season when all that was going on, and how did that, how do you feel about it now that the team has made the playoffs and won the South?
So that was a crazy day because you got rid of Clowney for what felt like absolutely nothing, and then you thought it was done, but it wasn't, because we got Tunsil and Stills later in the day, and I ended that day feeling very positive heading into the season. Watching Laramie over the season, watching Stills be electric when he's gotten the ball. The trades before the season were awesome, and the trades and the pickups during the season have been really good too. The Garyon Conley deal was awesome. He's played really well. He's also given up some big plays, but I think he's still an upgrade for what our secondary was. And then picking up Hargraves was key too.
Yeah, the team has done surprisingly well manipulating that waiver wire. Like you said, they got Hargraves. They traded for Gary and Conley. It's worked out well for them. obviously yet to see how far they'll go into the playoffs, but everything has kind of led them to where they are now. We've had some ups and downs with the Texans. Like Jam pointed out, we have a big matchup with the Bills, a great defense there. So Deshaun Watson has a knack of showing up in these games, championship, obviously, all the way down to high school and everything. So do you think Deshaun Watson has what it takes to kind of take that next step and win a playoff game and make it into the depths of the playoffs?
I think Deshaun Watson has the ability and the capabilities of taking this team as far as we've ever been, and maybe even farther. He's an electric quarterback. He's really good, and he's a winner. That's what he does. He wins. I was very surprised last year in the playoffs when he really had maybe his worst game as a pro up until the Denver game this year. But I think that he has that ability, and we're going to go as far as he can take us. And I think that's pretty far. I don't know if this is the actual year, but within the next 3 years, I think it is the actual year. I'm really excited for the future, and I know we can beat the Bills on Saturday.
We're going to make you pick that one coming up here. I don't want to jump ahead of what we got going on because I got another question I want to ask you. I want to circle back around. We were talking about J.J. Watt and him possibly returning this team in some capacity or another on Saturday. We have seen defenses just load the box, send everyone at Josh Allen, basically daring you to throw on them. And that's basically how you derail this Bills offense, is just as much pressure as you can. And I don't want to say that he just crumbles. He just has no time to throw the football because you just sent 8 guys at him to sack him, and teams have success with this over and over again. Do you think that this Houston Texans team will be able to kind of mirror what some of these other defenses have done against this Bills team?
Yeah, as long as Jonathan Joseph is on the field, I think he's really good pressing. When he gets off the field, there's going to be a wide open receiver very quickly. But I think your question was asking about the front seven, and I think that our front seven is talented enough to get after the quarterback with 8 guys quickly.
Yeah, they've had
with or
some
without
ups and
JJ,
downs.
but with JJ's even better. Oh yeah, they definitely had some ups and downs. But there's guys like Jacob Martin that are making huge plays. There's a rookie that I can't pronounce his last name out of Texas that's been making huge plays all year. I do like the front seven as it's constructed, and I think the middle linebackers are vastly underrated, both of them. McKinney and Cunningham are both really good pros.
Yeah, McKinney's been great. Whitney Merciless got the contract in the year too. He's been doing very well. So that's the question I have is the defense, right? Because we know that the offense has all the tools in the world. Nuke Hopkins, probably the best, if not top 2 wide receiver in the league. Michael Thomas might have something to say about that. You got Will Fuller running down the field, Stills running down the field. Carlos Hyde, his first ever season, rushing for over 1,000 yards. You have all sorts of tools and on the offense, so I don't really have concerns about that. My question is the defense, the secondary. They've been exploited this year, right? The team is in the bottom 20. Let's see, they're 29th in the league in pass yards allowed per game, and they're only 25th in the defense. So, the defense has been a little suspect, only allowing the 19th most points in the league. So, luckily, the Bills' offense doesn't score a lot of points in their own right. They only score about 19 points per game. So I think if the Texans' D can kind of hold up and keep the Bills in check, they'll be all right. The Texans' offense will just kind of have to overcome that huge Buffalo or that great Buffalo defense. So lots of interesting stuff to watch this game. Mostly, in my opinion, Deshaun Watson is going to be throwing at one of the best corners in the league, Tre'Davious White. Good matchup there. So.
Yeah. Tre'Davious White is really good. He's probably the best corner in the league.
He's up there. I think Stephon Gilmore would have something to say about that. But it's been.
Gilmore got owned by Parker on Sunday.
This is true. This is true. Parker's been doing that to some people, surprisingly, which has been awesome to see. Not to get too far off there. So maybe Maybe if it comes down to it and the Texans face the Patriots, you'll feel a little bit better about that. But I got to make it past the Bills first, right?
Yeah, that's the question then is, going into yet another Saturday afternoon Texans game. I think this is just predominantly known as the bad game for the weekend. I don't know that this is going to be a bad game. I don't think we have a bad game this weekend. Is really sort of the way it works out.
I think it's going to be a really, really fun game, but it's the Texans and Bills, and if you're looking nationally, right?
Yeah, no one wants to.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
That's true. So going into this game, why don't you give us a pick on a winner and what you think around about the score is going to be?
I think as long as Houston scores 24 points, we win this game pretty handily. I think the score will be 24-10 Houston.
I could see it. I don't know that this Bills offense is going to put up a lot of points. We'll be talking more in depth about this game on Friday. But for now, we will let you go. We appreciate your time, and if your prediction's right, we'll be talking to you next week.
Guys. All right, cool.
Be talking a Texans.
Probably
Texans, Ravens,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, depends on what those Patriots do, I
That'd be
suppose.
fun.
So, all right, we will hopefully talk to you next week then.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right, man.
Have a
Thanks
good
for the
day,
time.
guys. Thank
Yep.
you.
All right. So, what would a conversation about the Buffalo Bills be without having Matt, our Bills Mafia local Des Moines chapter, on? Matt, how's it going, man?
Oh, my goodness. It could not be going better. How are you guys?
We're doing
Good.
great, and I'm really excited now about what we were talking about off air. Tell everyone about the festivities they can expect this Saturday. We're trying to drum up a little bit of crowd here as
We're
well.
see if we can get anybody out with us.
Hey, I'll tell you what. That just shows you guys not being there because there's a crowd every time this Bills game on.
That's not what we
right?
meant.
We're
There's a
trying to
crowd
add
every
to it. We're
time.
trying to add to it, make it bigger.
Well, you're gonna. No, we'll be out there a little bit early. We'll be tailgating in the parking lot. Yes, I understand it's going to be 33 degrees. Yes, I understand we could go inside the bar, which has regular made delicious food, mind you. But it wouldn't be a Bills playoff game without a little bit of tailgating. So we are planning to do a little bit of tailgating in the parking lot. There may or may not be a folding table that has already offered to give its life for the cause. So we'll see. But yeah, Saturday's going to be a fun one. Game starts at 3:30, but tailgating I think is really already in a good sense already begun.
I would imagine so. I would expect nothing less. So let's talk about this matchup a little bit that you guys got here. You drew the Houston Texans. Gonna play down in Houston. How do you feel? Just basis thoughts off of the matchup. How do you feel going against this Texans team?
Well, I'd feel a little bit better if Will Fuller and J.J. Watt weren't both expected to play. That Houston offense is, I mean, obviously they've got playmakers all over the place, but they are a step up in a much better sense when Will Fuller is healthy. So I know we got the news today that Will Fuller is expected to play. So that's a little frustrating. We'll see what J.J. Watt has. So far, we talked back, before the season started about this improved Bills offensive line that we improved through free agency and the draft, and it really has performed very well. It has really, come together. Mitch Morse has been an absolute stalwart in the center. Only one homegrown guy in Deion Dawkins, but the other guys that we brought in, have really kind of rounded that out. So I think that Brian Dable, our offensive coordinator, is going to be able to game plan around either, chipping or double teaming or triple teaming J.J. Watt, or just getting Josh Allen away from him. Just seeing where he is before the play starts and making sure that we're going in a different direction. But even with those two guys healthy, I think our defense, good gravy, have they been stifling. They have just been an absolute force to be reckoned with throughout the year. And I think that we held the explosive and dynamic Ravens offense. We held them to just 24 points, and we lost that game by 7. We were right in that with them, and so I think I think there's some similarities in skill at the quarterback position and with the intricacies of what they're able to call with their two good running backs there. And I think if we were able to hold the Ravens in check, we've got a good chance of holding the Texans in check as well.
All right, I want to start on the offensive side of the football here, talking Buffalo Bills. We have seen teams, Ravens were one of them, we saw New England do this as well, just decide, you know what, we're going to send everything we have right at Josh Allen, up the gut, and it seemed to prove effective when teams decide to go out with these sort of all-out blitzes. We are going to dare you to try and throw the football on us. Houston, like you said, getting J.J. Watt back, obviously a guy that you have to look to double team. Are you worried at all that Houston might kind of come out here and at times show this same sort of strategy of just sending the house and trying to disrupt Josh Allen early?
I think that there definitely is some cause for concern. I mean, Josh Allen has made some significant steps in the right direction, but he is still, he's not at his ceiling, not by a wide margin. But I think one of the things that gives me hope in that is how he's progressed even within the year. So you talked about New England, you talked about the Ravens, but then you look at the second New England game, that one just a couple of weeks ago now, and you saw Josh Allen completing a 50-yard bomb to John Brown on an all-out blitz. You saw him right before halftime dropping an absolute dime in the bucket to Dawson Knox on the 1-yard line against an all-out blitz. He's learning how to adapt that. You saw him even on the John Brown touchdown pass. You saw him recognize that it was going to be an all-out blitz. He brought his tight end in, who was split out wide. He brought his tight end in to block. So he's learning to recognize those things. Did he recognize it every time? No. You can look at the end of that game. They brought 2 all-out blitzes that end up stopping us in the red zone. But Josh Allen has started to work with that, and he started to really put his team in a position where they can at least try something instead of just taking an 8 or 10-yard sack when he faces those. And so you talk about New England, you talk about the Ravens. Yes, they're able to do that. But again, I'm going to keep going back to it because good gravy, it's been our bread and butter. Our defense kept us in both of those games. And Josh Allen, especially in the Ravens game and in the second New England game, he had, 1 turnover in both those games combined, none against New England. And so he's been able to take care of the ball and at least put us in a position to do something. Each one of those games was a 1-touchdown game. We were right there, 1 extra bounce or something goes our way, completely different outcome. But we were able to even stay in those games, even with the falterings of Josh Allen. So do I think they're going to bring some all blitzes? Yes. But I think at this point in this season, bringing an all-out blitz isn't what it was if you were trying to bring it in the first half.
Yeah, the Bills have only lost to playoff teams except for a Week 10 3-point loss to the Browns in that Week 17 game that really shouldn't count because it was Matt Barkley and everything like that. So a really good team through and through. And like you said, the maturation, the growing up of Josh Allen has been something to watch because he's gotten better each week. We saw it last year to him getting better as we go, but this year really has been a campaign for him to get much better. Like you said, recognizing blitz, moving guys around, kind of becoming a master of that offense. Even when things break down, though, he has 500 yards. He's one of a few quarterbacks to have over 500 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns on the ground for Josh Allen. So really kind of been able to make things work even when they break down. So it has been an impressive year for the Bills offense. They have a 1,000-yard receiver in John Brown. Devin Singletary has almost 1,000 yards, scrimmage yards. Cole Beasley is coming on strong at the end of the year. There was a stretch where Dawson Knox was huge. So lots of good stuff for the offense. But really, like you said, the bread and butter, the thing that's been keeping you in the game has been the defense. Defense has the second fewest points allowed per game, allowing something like 19 points per game. And the combination of good, not great offense, but great defense it's kind of a winning formula, especially against a Texans team that has been up and down this year, right? They get a lot of their weapons back this week. We know Will Fuller on the offense, J.J. Watt on the defense, but this Bills team has quietly been one of the best teams in the league and doing it, unconventionally a little bit, close games. I don't think they had many blowouts, but they certainly never got blown out. So I feel good about this Bills team. Am I kind of just getting hyped up by what you're saying, or is this legit a good core team that's going to be good for this year and years to come?
Well, I can tell you this, but right now I've literally never known anyone who is able to talk to me without getting hyped up about the Bills. So that's definitely part of it. Like I just, I think that this team is built in such a way that the pieces are put together to make us good for a while. You look at our defense, all of our defensive starters, save for 3, are under contract through I think 2021. So no matter what happens this offseason, we're returning 8 or 9 guys, and the entire back end of it is returning. Lorenzo Alexander, Jack Lawson, Jordan Phillips, linebacker and 2 defensive linemen. Those are the only guys who aren't. And I'll tell you what, Shaq Lawson, you want to talk about quietly doing very well. That guy has quietly had a career year, and I really hope it's Buffalo, but wherever he ends up going, he is going to get paid, and he is going to deserve it. But yeah, I think that's what's so surprising about this team. It's just it has kind of happened quietly. Even when we've been put in a situation that's not totally quiet. I mean, we're 2-1 in nationally televised games with wins against the Cowboys and the Steelers, and so it's a situation where you look at our team and you say they've been able to have this success, but there are some clear places that they can improve. I talked about an improved offensive line, but like I said, most of all but one of those guys we brought in just this past offseason. And from what I've been told, I may be big enough to be an offensive lineman, but I've never played it. And what I've been told, it takes a while for offensive lines to truly gel. So I have every faith that our offensive line is going to be even better next year. As they've had another offseason to work together, another, year to kind of gel in that way. You also look at our offense, and like you said, John Brown has done well, Cole Beasley has done well, Dawson Knox has caught the ball better than anyone expected him to do at this level. But we don't have that, tall, strong, red zone type receiver who can go up and win, those jump balls. We got some guys who can win some jump balls, don't get me wrong. But there is the definite opportunity there to go to the draft or go to free agency and get that guy who can just dominate inside or outside and dominate in that zone. And we don't have that. I think our entire receiving core is, because Duke Williams usually isn't active, and when he's inactive, I think our entire receiving core is like under 6'1". So, we got some speedsters, we got some guys who can run fantastic routes, but we don't have that big target that a lot of teams, have and rely on. So I think that the Bills not only are built to last, I mean, we're, 10-6 this year, but we've got some places that we could definitely improve. And when we do, and I say when, because our front office the last 3 years has proven to me that they are absolutely going to put us in a position to succeed. What Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane have built is absolutely gorgeous. And so when I say when our team continues to improve this offseason, with how close we played them, with how, bad they played, especially on offense down the stretch. I know I said that I wouldn't call the AFC East for anyone else, but the Patriots until I saw it happen. But 2020, the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC East. You can write that down right now. You can put your money on it. You can send it to your mom. That's going to happen.
We are writing it down. We're putting it on the sticky note pad that keeps track of our weekly bets here because we are never competent enough to remember them. It almost happened this year. They almost were able to steal it, and it was 2 losses to New England where they really hung in there all up until the very end of the game. I do agree with you wholeheartedly. This team needs a big-bodied, tall, just go up and get it offensive weapon for red zone targets or even downfield. But I want to get back to this game a little bit here. If there is a way to beat this Houston's team, and it's been proven throughout the course of the season, Deshaun Watson, as good as he is, if you are able to get at him early and often, that's how you beat this team. When he's held upright and he's kept clean and defenses can't register a sack, he is a machine back there, and this defense is built to get pressures on the quarterback. So what is your over-under, while we're making predictions here, on number of sacks that Buffalo will register on Saturday?
Over under on number of sacks.
Yeah, where's the range we're looking at here?
I'd put that number at 3.5. I think that exactly what you're saying, talking about getting pressure, talking about getting in his face, I think Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott are going to see that exact same thing. And they're going to say, that's what we need to do. We need to get this guy off his schedule early and often. We need to be in that backfield. And when we've tried to come after quarterbacks, we've had a lot of success this year. We've had a lot of opportunities because we've got what I think is one of the best safety duos in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde, shout out Iowa product, in the entire league. And then you got Trey White, who had quietly led the NFL in interceptions and has had no touchdowns scored against him when he's been the man in coverage. He's the only one in the league who can say that, dating back to, I believe, Pro Football Focus put the year 2006. So quietly, Trey White has been one of the best cornerbacks in the game. We've got guys on the other side between Levi Wallace and Teron Johnson who can hold their own against number 2 and number 3 receivers. So that's the thing about this Bills defense is we're able to put our cornerbacks in a position where other teams can't trust theirs. We can put multiple guys on island with just a little help from a couple of young guys on far back end, and that's how we get after the quarterback. You got a guy in Tremaine Edmonds who, good gravy, makes me feel insanely old. He's like 12, but he is an absolute beast of a man. And his biggest knock in college was, coming out of college was just, he gets his eyes in the backfield a little too much. He overbites on run fakes and that. And you see just in, the last year, he's really cleaned that up. So now you've got a guy in Nate Edmonds and another guy, Matt Milano, in our linebacking core who can absolutely fly around in that in-between area and who are sideline-to-sideline guys in their respective positions. So that's how I think we're going to be able to get that pressure on Deshaun Watson early and often, because we can just tell our front guys, pin your ears back, get after him, we have your back. And we've proven it so many times this season that we do have their back, that we do have the defensive linemen's back, that they will run right through some O-lines with absolutely no fear, because they know even if they don't get home, we're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, that all sounds correct. So I got 2 things left for you. One,
Yep.
we're doing it with everybody. You've done this before. We'll do it again. I need your prediction for the game on Saturday. Give me a score for Saturday.
I don't think it's possible to beat Houston by a lot in their house in the playoffs, especially with the maturation of Deshaun Watson. So I don't think it'll be a super high-scoring game, but I think that you will see something along the lines of a 24-20, and I'm going to go with the Bills, of course.
All right. And last, I need you to hit me with a promo tell these people why they should come out and watch the Bills game with you on Saturday. We will be there, but tell these people why they should come out.
The fact is, Bills fans are a unique and wonderful breed. We are a breed that has been through near extinction at different times, not due to lack of focus, but just strictly lack of food over the last 20 years. If you don't feed an animal, it will die. We have fed on one thing and one thing only, and that is the tears of others. And so at a certain point, we have made an opportunity where we're the one delivering those tears. We've gone from being scavengers to being planters and being hunters. And when you got 20, 40 fans of hunters in the house, you can't get much better than that when it comes to watching football. You can't get much better than that when it comes to just checking out one of the best bars in the Des Moines area. I'm going to give a quick shout-out right quick to our bartender, Sydney. If she is not the best bartender you've ever had, I'd like to know when you went and had a drink in heaven. Are you kidding me? She is fantastic. That staff there is out of this world. There's going to be just a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of yelling. There's going to be me with maybe a slight case of bronchitis that will not allow it to slow me down. Today, we are recording this on Tuesday the 31st. I'm not sure when it's going to get put up, but we're recording it on my birthday. I turned 31 today. It's my golden birthday, and you wanted to talk about a way to celebrate that. You got the Buffalo Bills with an opportunity to get their first playoff win since the mid-'90s. If we are able to pull that off, by golly, we will rock that place to the ground. So Saturday's going to be a great time at the keg stand. Bills fans will be out in force. There may or may not be a table that sacrifices his life. I can't say for legal reasons. But, yeah, I think the reason to come out is just if you love football and you love football fans, it's going to be your place to be.
Absolutely. Well, if that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will, kids. So come out and hang out. We like I said, we'll be there. We're gonna have a good time, watch some football. Should be fun. Matt, we'll let you go. Thank you for your time on your birthday, nonetheless.
Yes, sir. Any time for you guys.
All right, that's the Texans Bills matchup. We did it. We did one.
Interesting one, right?
Or two or three, depending upon what order you're listening to this in. I don't
know
actually know.
The consensus view is that it's the Texans. It's the early Saturday game. This is what they do. It's not going to be the best. And it could be a great game. I really am looking forward to this matchup.
Possibility. We'll see.
And not just because I'll be at the keg stand with a bunch of Rowdy Bills Mafia.
Yeah, that's the one point I wanted to reiterate here. We will be at the keg stand. Come on out. Have a good time. Have a couple drinks with us and watch some football.
Yeah.
We haven't done too many of these. We haven't done any of these.
No, we have not. I mean, we've done them, just not formally.
Yeah, I'd like to see if some people show up and hang out with us. That'd be a good time. So
tell them your friends at Just Another Football Show sent you.
Yeah.
And they'll go, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, they'll have no idea who you're talking about.
But if enough people say it,
maybe they'll
say,
ask. Maybe they'll
"Oh,
start
who?"
asking.
and they tell two friends.
And they tell two friends.
And that's like 8 people.
And then everyone's revenue moves upward into sharing. I think
The same
pyramid
thing. The same thing. While we're on it, can be said about just like sharing the podcast, the episodes, these videos. If you like what you're listening to, let your friends know. And like I said, we're doing all the previews, all the games, all the playoffs, everything. We're talking to fans.
Yeah, and if you are a fan of one of the teams that gets to sit this week, and you want to talk, get at us.
You got some things lined up, but we're always willing to bump some people if you're enthusiastic. See what happens.
Yeah.
All right, so until next time, or when you click on the next video, or whatever it happens to be, this has been Just Another Football Show.
Bye.
See ya.
That's one.